Human rights violations then are in the way don't they affect persons with disabilities nas alone, including gender-based violence. It don't become worse during this COVID-19.
People they offend me.
This is another problem. This is another clean on the fair blabber before you have friends of they drum. Then the person people don't say against one now, they will come to the police. What's the police on? What's the police on? What is this?
You not for listen to me.
No, listen now, like a fair blabber. Go first. You go Canada, go. I'll go first. Go. Go.
We are women. There are disadvantage in women. A day on, then it can't be saying we are women with disability. That makes a triple disadvantage.
When generally women suffer, but women with disability suffer the most. So in other words, when you are a woman, you are deprived already, and when you are disabled, the deprivation is now double. So that is the angle we come from, and that's how we understand disability issues in Sierra Leone.
Time that like we get crisis like COVID-19, so women them with disability then they experience gender-based violence and then communities and now we environment.
You know, because disabled people are not employed so much employed in the formal public or private sector, most of what they earn they are living through are businesses, other livelihood sources. So when COVID came, lockdown, restriction on movement, social interaction, what that did was to kill their economies. I mean, when you shatter is different, but somebody is really living on a mega resources, or the business is not that too strong, or his capacity to trade big is not there, he's managing one or two things, and then COVID came, no sales, no production. At the end of the day, what happened? It has crippled every aspect of it.
Well, during COVID-19, the women with disability are the most affected people then. Because one, some of who they use with crutches there for worker. Some of we in a creep with a creep. It affects we because we then are most of the lapidated area, the vulnerable area. Also, you know, you go see who's with the sleep, enough fit for Motaman for sleep day. And then I feel the side and then they more of them diseases than they then take.
Being a woman alone is a serious challenge. But let alone being a disabled woman. I mean, during the COVID-19, you know, women them, now them, they take care of homes. But during the COVID-19, it really become disturbing. In fact, some women also lost jobs. The disabled women, I mean.
So in dealing with women with disability, there are certain things you should have at the back of your mind. One is patience, because they will think that you are laughing at them because of their status, so you should have patience, extra patience. The environment should be friendly. During examination, you always ask their consent, you inform them. Whenever, whatever procedure you want to take, you inform them, counsel them, at least to accept, because sometimes they are ashamed. So you have to build that confidence in them, and if they tell you that I don't want this particular person to be in this room during counseling or during medical examination, you are supposed to ask that person out and work with the person that he or she is comfortable with.
Therefore, consider we most, as they see disabled women, they so where they go, the nurses them and the caretakers them where they are around. Therefore, hurry up for assist for see to we needs.
Now this is our young goal as police officer, as investigator, for serve the community, whosoever, regardless of his status, which that you be, you get, you not get, you deform, you not deform, you disable, you not disable.
My source they provide family planning service for women them and include women with disability right across Sierra Leone.
We also want to send a very strong message to service providers, like for instance, those in the hospitals, those in the schools. You are good, man. Sierra Leone is currently implementing the free education policy. Those who are challenge, the highest are those with special needs in those schools where inclusion is not provided for or where their inclusion is challenged. Either the teachers themselves are not trained or the infrastructure are not accessible, or where the materials that could help them get public information like brailles, like recorders are not available. So we are asking stakeholders, especially Ministry of Education, to provide for children with disabilities just as the way they are providing for other children. For those in the health sector, I think it is the health sector that has been troubled the most since COVID, the outbreak of this pandemic. And it is that health sector we are also appealing. They should be sensitive to the plight of persons with disabilities, to those who can communicate well, to those who can see. And if they go to you, your mere disrespect or disregard not to talk to them is pushing them somewhere. The responsibility is on those service providers, the nurses, the doctors, to really appreciate persons with disabilities and include them in the service delivery. And inclusion, I must state this, as service delivery, if you are delivering service, it has to be equitable. That is what is missing in almost every service delivery center or for every social service persons with disabilities go for.
There are certain things we can't do to survivors, like to discriminate them, no matter their status. We don't collect money or tips from survivors. We don't, because these are the things that will drive them away. If they come to the center, we ask them, hey, you have to pay for this, you have to pay for that. I guess if they don't have the money, next time they won't come.
Any woman where you see not treat when are disabled to become physically unions, now people and our young mama then, our sister then, our everything. Do that, go to an aid, help them. If you see the strain, can near them. Take her as a mama, let's have that part of the society.
And as a women-led organization, we don't look at the gaps we don't do between the service providers and women with disability. Now make we don't get several engagements between service providers and women with disability. We don't train there as well how service providers for relate with persons with disabilities, how encourage disabled women as well for come out boldly and report any issues where they affect them on human rights areas. Then self go feel free, no say yes, we self they part of the services where then they render. Not to all 10 disabled person for be beneficiaries. We are also leaders So we self they take the front lead now for make we self they bring real issues on board, because we don't see say where people and they go to real issues they know they represent we well. Disabled women, we are now taking the lead to champion our issues. We want to see positive changes around women with disabilities. Thank you.